So you're heading to the World Concrete in Vegas. Maybe you stay the weekend, maybe you bring your wife, maybe you hit a nice dinner, and the question is, can you write it off? Or are you setting yourself up for an audit? If you're a construction contractor, travel deductions can save you thousands, but only if you structure them correctly. In today's episode, we're going to break this down so you don't leave money on the table or you don't wave a red flag to the IRS. Let's get into it. So why do contractors need to understand this? Travel is a part of your business. You go to trade shows, supplier meetings, inspect out-of-town job sites to bid on projects out of town, meet GCs or developers, attend industry trainings. But here's the issue. Most contractors either under-deduct because they're worried or over-deduct because their bookkeeper told them to just write it off. Both are expensive mistakes, so let's go step by step. Number 1, travel and lodging. Let's talk about the 100% rule. If your travel is primarily for business and requires an overnight stay, you can deduct airfare, hotel, rental car, rideshare, taxi, public transportation, parking. This is generally 100% deductible. So the key phrase is primarily for business. The IRS looks at why did you travel, what did you do, and how many days were business versus personal. So if, for example, you fly from California to Texas to oversee a 5-day commercial build, you can deduct round-trip airfare, 5 nights of lodging, transportation, and 50% of your meals will be deductible. Now that's all clean, but here's the nuance that comes in, and that is the 50% deductibility of meals. Most business meals are 50% deductible. That includes meals while traveling, meals at conventions, client dinners, and meals between meetings. So if you're at a 3-day expo, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is all 50% deductible. Now, if you buy occasional coffee and donuts for your crews at the job sites, that may qualify under de minimis fringe benefit rules, meaning minor food provided for business convenience, but assume 50% unless you've structured something specific. So next, let's talk about mixing business and vacation, where contractors often mess up. Let's say you attend 3 days of World of Concrete in Vegas, then stay 2 extra days for fun. Here's how it works. If the primary purpose of the trip was business, then airfare is deductible, hotel during business days is deductible, and meals during business days are 50%. But if you have an extra hotel night, technically that wouldn't be deductible. Also, show tickets and personal entertainment wouldn't be deductible either. So the IRS wants you to allocate by day. So if you go 3 business days plus 2 personal days, you deduct the business portion only. Now, if you flip that ratio, then you kind of have a problem. So let's talk about the primary purpose test, and this is critical. The IRS looks at total days, business activity, agenda, and documentation. If you attend 2 days of meeting and 5 days at the beach, that's not primarily business, but 4 days convention and 1 extra personal day, that's usually fine. So you got to use common sense. I call it the laugh test. So if you're flying to Hawaii to study shingles, that probably wouldn't fly. Next, let's talk about bringing the family in. This is extremely common. So let's say you attend a trade show in Orlando and bring the wife and kid. Here's the rule. You can deduct what you would have spent alone anyway. If the hotel cost is the same standard rate, then it's fully deductible. But the airfare for the spouse and kids, their meals and Disney tickets, unfortunately wouldn't be deductible. But there is an exception. If your spouse and kids are bona fide employees, performing legitimate business duties, and of course you need documentation on this, like their real role and duties, their expenses may qualify. But it must be real. The IRS would scrutinize this pretty heavily. So let's talk about conventions and trade shows. Within the United States, business travel for conventions is generally deductible. So that includes travel, lodging, and the 50% meals. Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean is deductible if you stayed 7 days or less, and at least 75% of your time is business related. Outside of North America, you must prove that the event within reason couldn't be held in the United States, and there was a legitimate business necessity. With cruises, there's very restrictive rules. Most contractor cruise seminars don't qualify. So let's talk about temporary out-of-town assignments. So this matters for larger contractors. If you take a project that requires you to be away from your home temporarily, that is less than 1 year, you may deduct travel, lodging, and 50% meals. But once your assignment exceeds 1 year, that new location may be your new tax home, and deductions would change dramatically. So needless to say, this can obviously cost you a lot of money in the way of deduction. So sometimes airfare is cheaper if you stay Saturday night. So if your airfare alone is $900, but airfare plus 2 extra hotel nights is $750, you can stay the weekend, deduct the business portion, and allocate it accordingly. But it would be good to document the airfare comparison. So again, if audited, you just need the proof. So what do you need in terms of documentation? That is your ultimate audit shield. So if you're traveling to Vegas, Miami, Maui, Orlando, expect scrutiny. So you should keep convention agendas, meeting confirmations, notes, receipts, travel logs, and business emails confirming meetings. So the IRS allows travel deductions. They just don't allow sloppy ones. So here are the common mistakes contractors tend to make. Writing off full family trips, deducting 100% of meals, no documentation, overstating business days, and calling vacation strategy meetings. So all those things can provide for a pretty bad audit experience. So what are some final takeaways? If your trip has a clear business purpose, requires overnight travel, is documented properly, and if needed, allocates personal versus business days correctly, you can legally deduct significant expenses. But if you blur the lines, exaggerate business days, or fail to document, you're increasing your audit risk. The goal isn't to be aggressive. The goal is to be structured so that it can be very defensible in the case of an audit. Contractors who structure their deductions properly pay less tax, avoid audits, and sleep better at night. So if you have any questions on any of this, structuring yourself properly, we're happy to speak. Our calendar link is down in the show notes. Hope you found this helpful and see you in the next one.